This is Brother Jamal coming to you on my YouTube channel, bringing you another talk, another discussion on some real important things. Our discussion and continue to talk about maintaining justice and establishing the truth. These are our main themes and topics. Maintaining justice, establishing truth. Allah tells us in the Holy Quran, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, that whenever you judge between people, judge with fairness. Always, from the Holy Quran, whenever you judge between people, you have to judge in fairness. Otherwise, there's no point in the judgment. So when you look at when you take that into consideration, you take the bigger picture and you bring it down to America. America has never dealt with black people in any kind of fairness. Justice, you can almost rule it out, but there's not have been any fairness. You can't have justice if you have no fairness in the deliberation of whatever it is. So the fairness has not been dealt out to black people in America. There's never been any fairness. If that was fairness, why would there be a need to go across to another part of the world, kidnap people and bring them back here and enslave them, if that was fairness and justice in America? And then they wonder why people don't recognize and don't stand and for the national anthem. Well, it's hypocritical, because the very thing that you say in the national anthem, you don't put it into practice. You have never put it into practice, and you don't do it. So how would someone recognize falsehood, which is the national anthem, the whole idea of standing, singing, all that's falsehood. All that's falsehood. Because it's not recognized. Because the very thing that they say, the very thing that they promote, the very thing that they supposed to do, there's no carrying through with that. So how is that fairness? So why would someone participate in the national anthem and all that whole falsehood process when there's no real meaning to it? Because the very words that they say, they don't practice what they preach. They don't mean what they say. See, that's what we get from that. And then they got the nerve to get upset because Kaepernick and all throughout the sports world, people are kneeling now. They kneeling because of the falsehood of what the national anthem say and what they see going on and what they see people doing. That's why they kneeling, because it's the whole premise behind the national anthem is falsehood, because they don't carry out what they say. They expect you to get up and sing this national anthem, and after they get through singing it, they don't practice 1 cent of what they're singing about. There's no practice in it. So once again, there's no fairness. If black people have been judged for over 400 some years in this country, there has not been any fairness. Because if there was, why would you create a law called segregation if that was fairness? Create a law called segregation, and the whole idea is to put one race in superiority and put another race in inferiority. Where's that fairness in that? There's no fairness in it. See? Not whatsoever. No fairness at all. So the people have continued to protest, rightfully so. They should continue to protest. They should continue to make noise. They should continue to create this revolutionary movement inside the U.S., which has to take place to dismantle, to uproot wickedness, evil, and falsehood. They have to dismantle and uproot that whole thing that represents falsehood, that represents social injustice, that represents oppression. All of it has to go. Institutionalized racism, it all has to go, because that's the wickedness and the evil that's in this system from the root of it. And so the whole foundation has to be uprooted. to destroy, to get away with that hypocritical thing that they say with their mouth, and they don't carry out and practice 1 inch of it. They don't practice any of it. Because if there was some true grit to what it says, then we wouldn't have this discussion. There wouldn't be no reason for protest. And it's so incumbent upon the people: no justice, no peace, forward together, backwards never. The protest is important that the protest continues to move, continue to pick up steam, continue to press forward. Regardless of what happens, what takes place, it's important for the protest to continue to pick up steam and press forward and keep on pushing. It's important for that it takes place, that happens. Once again, we're talking about the whole idea of maintaining justice / establishing truth. We can only establish truth once the falsehood is got rid of. That's the only way we can establish truth. Wickedness and evil doers, this all has to be uprooted from the foundation of this so-called justice system that we live in. I say so-called because that's what it is, because they don't practice what they preach. They don't mean what they say. They say one thing and they do something else. That's the falsehood that's in this whole premise of this system. So I want to bring you that message this morning and say to the people that's involved in the movement and involved in the protest, to the young people: keep on doing what you're doing. Keep the pressure up. Keep demonstrating, protests, marching, rallies, you name it. Keep the pressure on. Keep it up.